This is the Hitway BK10s Pro Max Plus GT line Light, or part of that. It's a folding e-bike, fat tyres, looks very nice, especially with these funky BMX style handlebars. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it and it isn't too expensive. So let's find out if it's worth your money. Hello there. Yes, in a world of increasingly complicated names for e-bikes, this is the Hitway BK10s Pro. What's the difference between this and the non-Pro? Well, a few upgraded specs, I think, but also this has got BMX handlebars, which I really like. I don't think you could sell a bike on the fact that it's got BMX handlebars, but if it's like a choice between this and folding handlebars, these look better. Folding handlebars, fold. Also, these do give you a bit more control. We have got a 250 watt UK legal e-bike, rear hub motor, 48 volt battery, decent bit of punch there, although you don't feel it because this is very gradual in its power delivery. Gradually gets you up to speed and then it stops at 15.5. And they've done that thing which I do not agree with at all, where they changed the speedo so it never reads over 15.5. So if I'm going down a big hill and I'm going very fast, it will just say 15.5, which I think is really dumb. We do have a cadence sensor, which is nice in that if you want, you can put little effort in it and it'll always give you 100% power. And if you want to put more effort in, you can decrease the pedal assist and then it won't give you 100% power. However, because it is a cadence sensor, when you pull away, it takes a while to kick in because it has to actually recognize the rotation. So if I stop over here and I start pedaling, it kicks in now and it gradually gets you up to speed to 15.5. Now there's a bit of clanging going on because that front mudguard is a bit too close to the wheel, so something's catching slightly. Might as well talk about the mudguard. We've got front mudguard, rear mudguard, both metal, both decent quality, but they haven't been like adjusted properly, not by me, but on the people who put the bike together. There's the box. It's inside the box. Here it is outside the box. Don't forget to tighten up the handlebars because they this bit was already on, but it isn't tight. It can be a bit difficult to get it tight. Boop. Get the pedals on. Get the rear mudguard on. Get the front light and front mudguard on. Right, I'm putting the front wheel on. The mudguard is a bit too close, as you can see. Now you can adjust that and move it around a bit. The front mudguard also should probably be as high as possible down there. So when you put it on, push it high because it rubs less. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to bash this straighter a bit because if you see here, it is going away from the metal, or unbend that a bit so it gives it a bit more distance. I won't do it now, but I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, basically the whole thing was a bit far towards me, so I basically just had to give it a little bash in that direction. Much better now. Get the bell on. The 3 amp charger should charge the 15 amp hour battery in about 5 hours from empty. And then you're done. In the box we've got a pump, we've got a 3 amp charger, we've got a manual, we've got a takeaway menu, we've got pedals, we've got zip ties, we've got a lock, we've got an axle, and we've got some tools. Right, we've got rear suspension, front suspension, so this is, yes, a dual suspension e-bike out of these bumps. And I've got to say, the rear suspension feels really nice. The shock itself isn't anything special, but it seems to be set up in a very nice way. Coupled with the big fat tyres, 4-inch wide, 20-inch diameter. This is a very comfy ride. Let's test it out on an R test. As you can hear, I'm fine, but the mudguards aren't. However, like I say, I don't think it's going to be a problem for most people. Maybe the odd one or two. Get some pliers and you'll sort it out. But better yet, Hitway, you sort it out. But yeah, being a fat tyre e-bike, this is going to be absolutely fine over a variety of surfaces. Just be careful, because obviously they aren't knobby off-road tread, they're more of a road tread. Also, when you are on the roads and you don't need that suspension, you can lock out the front suspension, because sometimes people don't like having front suspension when they're trying to go faster, because it takes out a bit of your kind of momentum when you're bouncing around. So yeah, you can lock that. We do have preload on the other side, which is meant to decrease the amount of travel on your suspension, but I'm yet to find a bike where that actually makes any difference that I can notice. Right, we are at the hill climb where we get to test out the torque of this bike, because it's a cadence sensor. We will get to get a fair time. 2, 1, go. It just takes a long time to kick in. Right. If that was you papping, do say so in the comments, because I'm guessing they weren't papping at me. I couldn't see their faces, but just in case, I waved. Anyway, up to speed, up to 15.5. Of course, we can't get a nice big run up on this because it's limited to 15.5. 70 Newton meters of torque, which in the scheme of e-bike torque numbers is quite high. We'll see. I'm in a high gear, so I'm not helping or anything. I'm just making my legs go round. It's not doing too bad. It's gonna get up, and if I wanted to, I could start actually pedaling properly and help as well, and it'll be a lot faster. That's not bad at all, because of course it's a legal e-bike. I wasn't really expecting anything, and the motor's badged as 250 watts, but of course they're allowed to badge it as whatever they want. In reality, it might be able to produce a bit more, which means you might also be able to unlock the bike and go a bit faster if that's what you want. But of course, it's not unlocked. There's no throttle. We're fully legal. So the gears are 7-speed Shimano Tawny, which are fine. In gear 7, I can help. They're basically base level gears. However, I do like the undershifters. I prefer undershifters to the over ones. They're not much better, I just prefer them. But yeah, they seem pretty well adjusted. The only thing that isn't well adjusted is that front mudguard, which is really annoying me. I'm kind of worried that I'm going to go over a bump and it's going to suddenly like clamp down on the wheel and cause a break, which I won't be able to fix because I've got no tools with me. 3, 2, 1, go. And the power's kicked in. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, stop. So this cadence sensor, not only does it take a while to get you going, if you're riding and then you stop pedaling for a bit like that and the motor cuts out, you've got to wait a bit until it kicks back in again. So if you are going up a slight hill, you end up kind of in situations, if you stop pedaling, where you're getting stuck again. Now let's check out the weight of this BMX style e-bike and who can fit on it. So on the website it says package weight 43 kilograms. It says net weight 35 kilograms, but when I actually weighed it, it was 30 kilograms. So I don't know why they don't just tell you that. Seat all the way down with my short inside leg, probably about 31 inches. I reckon you'd be okay if you were like 5 foot on this, depending on your leg, inside leg obviously. A few people have asked me to keep saying that. I'll try my best. And then up here, right, that's not too difficult for me to get on, meaning, considering this is legal with no throttle, it's probably how I should have it. And I'm 5'9", probably low 6 foot, should still be okay on this. So let's check it out with no pedal assist. Ooh. Right, let's use the gears. Forgot about gears. They're just not nice to pedal. If you run out of batteries with this, I mean, I'm on a bit of a hill now, so I'm going down, but if on the flat, you'd probably get a steady like 8 miles an hour or something. Right, now pedal assist 1, I can feel it still. You seem to cut out about 9 miles an hour and give you less power. Right, pedal assist 2. Gets you up to about 12. Every time you are getting more power and more speed. Being a fat tyre e-bike, of course, it's not really about the speed, it is more about the cruising. And if you're cruising about with friends, 15.5 it's a decent enough speed. But if you use it as a commuter, then although it's good in that it can go over all sorts of surfaces, there might be parts where you want to get up to say 25 miles an hour, and on this you are going to struggle because of those like sticky fat tyres and the fact that it's 30 kilograms. But it's not too bad. You could probably get up to 18-ish without too much struggling, and then when it goes uphill you're sticking to 15.5, which is fine. I mean, this is the kind of bike you don't buy it if you just want it for commuting. You also want it for fun because of the way it looks. Although, like I said, the BMX handlebars do give you a bit of extra control over folding ones, so if you don't need the folding handlebars, then it's definitely worth getting. See, around that corner then, there was a corner and a hill, so I didn't pedal around the corner, and then when I tried to pedal away, I've got to wait for that cadence sensor to kick in. Not all cadence sensors are like that, but this does seem like a particularly slow reacting cadence sensor. So it has got a bell with a kind of spring-loaded hammer. I quite like that. It is just a bell though, nothing to get too excited about. Oh, the pedals aren't foldable pedals, they're just nice metal pedals, very grippy. We got a nice chunky stand, we got nice hand grips with palm rests, we got front light, rear light, and the rear light is a brake light, and they both seem pretty bright for what they are, especially the rear light. And we got a rear rack, which seems pretty chunky. And of course this bike can fold, so let's check out how easy that is, or how hard. And while we're there, we might as well have a look at the battery, because the battery's inside the bike. Right, so the battery is inside there, so to get to it you do have to at least partially fold the bike. So let's get rid of that stand. You got to pull this, crack that open. So at this point you could pull the battery out, but I'll do that in a bit. All the way in, it lands on that metal thing. Some bikes don't have the metal thing down there, and it lands on the chainring, or the bottom of the saddle pokes through. I prefer it when there's that metal thing. Obviously that doesn't come down, so that's it. Like, that's all it is for folding. Now, to get the battery out, not only have you got to unlock it with this key, you've got to pull the key out, because the key will keep the battery in. So pull the key out, and it slides out fairly easily. 48 volts, 15 amp hours at 720 watt hours. You can see it's got these little rubber things, because notoriously these rattle inside. Because it's got these, not only does it not rattle inside, it doesn't just fall out when you pull the key out. So get that up there, undo this, watch your hand. So crack that closed, close it up. Now I'm going to try and put the key in. That is one thing about having the key under there. Not only is it going to get muddy and stuff, but it's hard to get the key back in without going under and having a look. There we go. It's in now. Turn one, turn two. So one turn allows you to remove the key and the battery's stuck in. 2 turns is what it needs to have power. And it doesn't want me to do a second turn for some reason. There we go. It's got the cap there. You can charge it while the battery's in the bike, but these caps are notoriously a bit awkward, so it takes ages to get it in. There you go, it's in there. But sometimes it doesn't want to go in. Why did I just pull that out? So they reckon somewhere between 46 and 75 miles range, depending on the pedal assist, obviously. We will come back later on in the video to check if that seems realistic, and of course we'll sum up all the negatives later on as well. The screen, so yeah, in the sun it's still very bright, very clear. We've got obviously the speed, we've got the assist level, battery level, you've got Bluetooth indicator, because this does come with an app. I tried the app, but it doesn't really do that much. It's got a bit of a sat-nav feature, and you can turn the lights on and do various things that you can already do on the computer, so you don't really need it. Hold down the power button, you go from odo to trip to voltage, is that? So one thing you can't see very well, or at least I can't see very well, is the description of what the number is. I think that's voltage. And time. Right, let's test out these hydraulic brakes then. 15.5-ish. 1, 2 and a bit. Saddle is so far comfortable. At the moment it's on at £1,099. I do have a discount code, but my discount code is only £30. I mean, something like e-VRC 30. Check the description. I think it's one of them bikes that really, I think its ideal price, thinking about it, would be about somewhere between £899 and £999. I think if they could get this to be a sub £1,000 e-bike, then we're on to a winner really, because I know it's got hydraulic disc brakes and the BMX handlebars, colour screen, rack and fenders, mudguards, which could push the price up. It's also got things like the not great Cadence sensor that kind of makes you think, oh, if I'm paying over £1,000 for a bike, I can't be struggling every now and again to get the pedals going. Don't get me wrong, I love that right now I'm not putting any effort in. That's my main gripe about some torque sensor e-bikes that aren't really set up that well. But the flip side of the Cadence sensor is that without a throttle they're hard to get going. They're ideally partnered with a throttle, and this doesn't have one because they're trying to be legal. The battery's decent, to be fair. 15 amp hours, 720 watt hours is quite good. So I suppose that puts the price up a little bit. But I think overall though, it's a nice bike. But let's actually jump forward in time to check out the range. Right, we have done just under 15 miles and it says 4 bars at the moment, but it did start going down to 3 bars up hills at around 13 miles. I think we'll get about 30 good miles at my weight on this in pedal assist 5. Obviously their range of like 46 or something would have been in pedal assist 5 because it is not locked. It is locked to 15.5, which tends to conserve the battery quite well. So in pedal assist 5, 15.5 miles an hour. If you weigh what I do, which is about 100 kilograms, about 30 miles. If you're lighter, you might start pushing towards 40 miles, and it is very cold. Their 46 miles would have been on a warm day and about 70 kilogram rider. But this bike, if you don't care that much about going really fast, unless you somehow unlock it, and you just want to cruise about comfortably at 15.5 without any effort, then I quite like this. So negatives then, obviously I've mentioned what I've mentioned, but my main two have got to be the mudguard, which I imagine won't be a problem for many people, and it'll be easily fixed. Just get some big pliers and rebend the corner down there if it is an issue. And also the Cadence sensor, which again isn't the end of the world, but it is annoying, and it's annoying enough if you just spent £1,000 on an e-bike. So I think if they could fix that, what they really need to do is, for example, the Cyrus Rome has 2 sensors. It's got the torque sensor to get you going immediately and allow you to adjust the power delivery of the pedaling. But you can flick it then to Cadence sensor mode, so once you're going, it just gives you all the power. I mean, there's a chance it hasn't got 2 sensors, and that it's just actually got a really good torque sensor, because really a good torque sensor should just be that when you put it into pedal assist 5, you don't have to try. And then maybe the model of the bike, although I think it kind of looks chunky and cool. I've had a few bikes with this kind of setup, and it's getting a bit long in the tooth in that there's so many of them. But with the BMX handlebars, it does separate it a little bit. Maybe a bit of design flair on the bodywork might be nice. But as you can see, the BMX handlebars, as well as adding that extra control, because you've got a bit of a wider stance, it makes this bike look so much better than fat tire folding bikes with the folding handlebars. So if you don't need to fold it that much, and let's face it, these aren't designed to fold so you can go on public transport, it's more just for storage. It is kind of cool that you've got these instead, so I like that. If I was to own just one of these, I think I'd want BMX handlebars. But if you're getting it for its looks and its suspension and its fairly decent price, then you could do a lot worse than the BK10s Pro, Max, GT, Line, Light, Turbo, Ultra. So if you are interested, there are links in the description, and don't forget the discount code. I do appreciate if you use the link. It just takes you to their website where you'd go if you googled them, but it just lets them know it came from me. We'll get a little bit of commission. But until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you ride safe. Plus Z, S, ZS, A, B, Flash, Arrow, Catwoman, Poison Ivy,